Hi everyone and welcome to today's session. This session is designed to be incorporated into your field training session, and the format of this session will be a warm-up into a speed and agility unit, followed by a technical skills unit designed by the coach, and finishing up then with a cool down. So we're going to begin this session with the warm-up, which I'm going to demonstrate here with Jake. So the first exercise we're going to work on is very simple. To get the heart rate up, we're going to work on a 50% jog, straight line across 15 to 20 meters, and you're going to repeat that twice. So Jake's going to demonstrate here throughout the warm-up. So there's a 50% jog, getting used to running on grass again and getting used to wearing the studs again. Okay, when you're ready, 50% again, Jake. Nice and easy. Keep it slow. And now we're going to work across 10 meters. Okay, so we're going to start bringing in a little bit of your speed mechanics here as we mobilize as well. So we're going to work on a knee raise exercise to start mobilizing, keep the heart rate up, but we're going to make it the A march that you have been learning in previous blocks. So Jake's going to demonstrate here just a knee raise with the arm action, knee up, toe up, just walking out. So just the A march movement. You can incorporate a raise onto the ball of the foot here if you can keep the knee up, the toe up, and you've got a strong stance leg. So this is going to double as a mobilizing exercise and preparing us for the speed and agility stuff later on. Good. Okay, so again, repeating that twice, 10 meters, turning around, and if you can, getting that raise up onto the ball of your foot. Good, nice tall torso, nice and strong through the core. Good. If you want to have a look at the mechanics a little bit more, take it back to the previous blocks and have a look at that. Okay, we're going to go into heel kicks now to stretch out through the quad muscle, mobilize, but also again we're going to bring the mechanics of the ankling drill we would have done before. So now instead of just a heel kick up behind, you're going to come underneath and we're going to work on that ankling movement that we worked on before. So Jake's going to demonstrate that here. So still getting, so sorry Jake, I'm going to get you to bring in the hop into this. So now we can bring a little bit more of an upbeat movement into it. Good. Okay, so picking up the foot. The heel is still coming up to the back side, but you're coming underneath the center of gravity and cycling over that inside knee. Okay, let's give that a go again, Jake. So still getting that heel up behind, up to the back side, but underneath you. Good. Okay, let's give the hamstrings a little bit of a stretch out. We're going to do a hamstring walkout, couple of quick steps in between, reaching down, sweeping the grass. Lengthen out through the hamstrings here. Couple of quick steps in between, keeping the heart rate up, getting that dynamic stretch. 10 meters out, and on the way back in, let's increase that stretch here by doing a high leg kick, couple of quick steps in between, kicking to the opposite leg. Lengthen that leg, good. To finish up this section of the warm-up, we're going to gradually increase your running pace. So you're going to run across 20 meters and you're going to increase the pace from 70% to 80% to 90%. So Jake's going to demonstrate here. So just a straight line run when you're ready, Jake. For 70%, taking a walking return, and if you're doing this in a field training session, you can just wait for the rest of your teammates to filter through. If you're doing this on your own, you can take a short 30 second to 1 minute break. So Jake's going to now build it up to 80%. Good. Again, walking return. Take that break or waiting for each of your teammates to filter through before you go again. And now building it up to 90% before we move on to the final section of the warm-up. Okay, Jake, when you're ready, 90%. And again, walking return, catching your breath as you recover before we move on to some jumping motions in our warm-up. We're now going to work on activating and bringing some jumps into the warm-up as well to prepare for the speed and agility unit. The first exercise we're going to work on is the single leg hip bridge, and this is used to activate the glutes. So Jake's going to demonstrate here. So lying down on your back, knees bent, feet flat, feet shoulder width apart. Good. And we're going to start off, with the normal hip bridge first, just to remind you of that. So squeezing through the glutes, lifting the hips up, keeping the glutes engaged and holding for 2 or 3 seconds before coming down fully. And raising up again. And down. So that's one variation of the exercise, but I do want you to advance on, if you can, to a single leg hip bridge. So you're going to center one leg a little bit more. Keep the opposite leg in line with the working leg and squeeze through the glute and lift the hips up. Lifting the hips towards the ceiling, hold for a few seconds and dropping back down fully to the ground. Engage and lift. 10 repetitions on each leg to wake up the glute and focus on really activating that glute. Making sure here that you're not arching through the spine as you lift up, that the extension is coming from the hip. If you're finding that this is a little bit too difficult to control, then you can take it back to the double leg hip bridge exercise. You might find this a little bit tricky to do on the field with your boots on. Just get that foot grounded, still driving through the heel as you would have done before, and focus on squeezing the glutes. Make sure that when you are doing this on the field that you find yourselves a nice flat surface to work on. Activating through the glute, driving the hips up high, and that pressure is through the heel of your foot. Keep control of that leg. Try to keep the alignment of the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Don't let the knee fall out to the side. Okay, once you've completed 10 repetitions on that and woken up the glutes, we're going to draw in some more movement here through a lunge. So Jake, I'll get you up onto your feet. So we're going to work on a reverse lunge here. Do try use the reverse lunge if you can. If that's a bit tricky for you and you're not getting the angles right, then use the forward lunge. So Jake's going to demonstrate here, stepping back, getting that nice 90-degree angle on both legs, stepping forward and repeating on the opposite side. You're going to do 10 reps in total here, so you'll end up doing 5 on each leg, and make sure you're getting those angles right. On the way up, again, you're squeezing through the glutes, so waking up those glute muscles here. As I said, if you can't get the angles right here on a reverse lunge, you're just going to do the forward lunge instead. Okay, then taking it on to an activation of the core, we're going to work on the plank exercise, and we're just going to hold the plank for 30 seconds. Raising the hips off the ground. The pressure is on the forearm here and on the toes. Your feet are shoulder width apart. Nice strong core. Don't let the hips drop towards the ground. Don't allow the hips to pike up towards the ceiling. Also nice and strong through your shoulder blades here. So push the ground away from you. Keep the shoulders nice and strong. Also be aware of your head position. Don't let your neck hang down. As you're doing this, activate your core. Squeeze the core nice and tight. So just holding for about 30 seconds. So Jake, 3, 2, and 1, and drop down. And each player is going to be different. So if you can hold for the 30, hold for the 30. If you can't manage to hold it for 30 seconds with good technique, then drop down whenever you feel like you can't keep the body positioning. Okay, taking it on now to some jumping motions, really raising the heart rate up now, getting explosive, getting ready for the work that we're going to do in the speed and agility unit. But still controlled here, focusing on getting the force production from the jump, but also then absorbing that force on the landing. So remember, ankle, knee, and hip bending on the landing. So the first exercise is going to be the squat jump. We're going to do 4 repetitions here in total. Jake's going to demonstrate that. Use the arms for momentum here. Good. Explosive, but still controlled, absorbing the force flat foot on the landing. Perfect. Okay, so taking about 20 to 30 seconds in between each jump here, just allowing that heart rate to come down a little bit again and get ready for the next jump. The next exercise is going to be the horizontal jump. So we're just going to use the space here. So Jake, I'll get you back at the cone, back towards the cone at least. And we're going to work on 4 horizontal jumps here. You are looking for distance on this to wake up those muscles, but you don't want to jump too far that you're losing that technique in the jump. So the reminder on this, you're swinging the arms back, and as you drive forward, the arms swing forward and you explosively push off the ball of your foot, getting that extension through the hip, the knee, and the ankle. So Jake's going to show us here 4 repetitions. We are still warming up, so not too much distance. Good, absorbing the force through the ankles, knees, and hips. Good. Good. Okay, so that's your horizontal jump. The next exercise we're going to work on is the lunge jump. So again, getting that 90 degree angle, and then explosive jump and catching yourself on the landing, trying to get that 90 degree angle. If you struggle with this, with the landing in that split stance position, what you can do is jump to the center and then jump onto the opposite leg. So Jake's going to demonstrate the more advanced variation here, jumping from right to left. 4 repetitions again, all controlled. Good. Okay, and this is going to prep us nicely for the speed and agility stuff coming next. The final exercise we're going to work on here for the warm-up is a forward hop. So Jake's going to demonstrate the more advanced variation here again. He's going to go right leg to right leg for 4, and then turn around left leg to left leg for 4. If you're struggling with this, you can do from left on to right for a forward hop. The most important thing here is that we're working on stabilizing through the ankle, the knee, and the hip. You're not looking for distance here. What you're looking for is enough of a challenge on that single leg landing. Okay, so big jump here. It's going to be too much of a challenge. We're just still waking the muscles up here. So Jake's going to demonstrate. Catch. Good. So you can see here, Jake's pausing in between each one. And catch yourself with the other foot if you have to. Good. Okay, so 4 on the right, 4 on the left. Ankle, knee, and hip bent. Absorb that force. Good. Okay, so that's it for our warm-up. That's going to help you prepare for the session. It's going to reduce the risk of injury, so make sure that you're focused on that warm-up before you start working on speed work, before you start introducing technical skills. So we're now going to take it on to the speed and agility unit. So we're now going to perform a speed and agility unit before we take you on to your technical skills unit. Jake's going to demonstrate here for us, and we're going to increase the intensity of what you've been doing over the last couple of blocks through an increased distance and an increased pace that you've been working on. So previously you had been working on 80 to 90% pace. We're now going to take it up to 90 to 100% pace. This is still going to be self-led, so you're going to initiate the acceleration on this. We're still not going to use whistles to react just yet. We're still just building up to that 100% pace. So Jake's going to demonstrate here for us the step back acceleration that we would have done in a previous block. And he's going to demonstrate this at 90% pace. So Jake in that athletic stance position, weight onto the toes a little bit. And when you're ready, step back and accelerate through 20 meters at 90%. Good. Okay, let's take that walk return. If you're doing this in your field session, you can take about 30 seconds to 1 minute break before you go again. Or you can wait for your team to filter through as well. When we come to 100% pace, you're going to take a little bit longer on the break. So that's what Jake's going to demonstrate now. Again, that step back acceleration that you would have learned before, but now at 100% pace through 20 meters. Good. Okay. introduce that deceleration here as well if you can. We're going to be looking at that a little bit more in the next drill. But you do want to take a little bit longer, as I said, after you complete 100% run. Generally, you want to take a minute for every 10 meters you cover. So if we're working on 20 meters here, you should take 2 minutes recovery before you go again. So Jake's going to demonstrate here the next exercise, and this is one that's a little bit more tricky. We're now going to do an acceleration from a lateral position. So Jake's going to demonstrate a side step back acceleration here, and this includes a rotation. So this is something we will have been working on in the L drill in the other block. And we're going to do this at 90% pace left and right, and then build up to 100% left and right. So Jake's going to demonstrate here that athletic position, and then he's going to step and turn and run 90% for 20 meters. And decelerate. Good, perfect. Okay, let's take that walk back to recover. So because we're not going 100% just yet, you don't need to take as much time on the recovery, but when we build to that 100%, you're going to take a little bit longer. So Jake's going to demonstrate this from the opposite side. So take your time getting used to this movement. Again, athletic stance position. Good. And decelerate. Good. Okay, so getting that sharp deceleration in there as well. Okay, so nothing changes here. We're going to keep the same distance. The movement's the same. The only thing that does change is going to be your pace. So we're now going to build it up to 100% pace, and you're going to want to take a little bit longer on the rest and recovery in between. And decelerate. Good. So get that stick. Absorb the force through the ankles, knees, and hips on that deceleration. So taking your time now, we're just going to take a little bit longer here for Jake before he demonstrates that at 100% pace on the opposite side. And just work on getting that technique right. If you're not sure of the technique just yet, work on it at a slower rate or pace, and then slowly build up to 100% pace once you're ready. So Jake's just going to demonstrate this once more. So in total, you're doing it 4 times. And now from the opposite side. And decelerate. Good. Okay, so not rushing any of this. We are building up to that 100% pace now. If you're not ready for it just yet, take your time with increasing that pace. But if you are building up to 100% pace, just be sure to take that little bit longer in between the sets. If there's a bigger crowd, the numbers filtering through will ensure that you get a bit of a rest period, but if there's smaller numbers or you're doing this on your own, just be sure to take that little bit longer. The next drill we're going to do is a variation of the drill we learned from the last block, and this is building in a lot of different components into this. We've got a gradual run into an acceleration, into a deceleration, back pedal, turn and run, and today we're going to add in an up-down movement, okay? So just adding another component in here just to prepare you for some contact that might be happening in the future. So Jake's going to demonstrate this. We're upping the distance now. Previously we have been doing this across 10 to 15 meters. We're now working across 15 to 20 meters. And we're upping the pace here as well. So where you would have performed the run at 50 to 60% pace and then into 80 to 90% sprint, we're now going to up it to 60 to 70% on the run, and then into a 90 to 100% pace on the acceleration. So Jake's going to demonstrate this here for us. 60 to 70% run, and then taking off to a 90 to 100% sprint, and then decelerate. Good. Back pedal, turn, sprint, and then up down to finish it off. Good. Okay. This can be repeated up to 4 to 6 times, but you do want to take that rest in between. You can work this into a drill where you're using the ball. You can work with the partner. And that goes for the other drills that we would have performed previous to this as well. And if you're looking for ideas at how to incorporate the ball, either the sliotar and hurley or the football into these drills, you can follow the guide on the website. But now we're ready for our technical skills unit.
For your technical skills unit, we will now encourage the use of small-sided games. You should start with smaller numbers, for example 3v3 or 5v5, and start with a smaller area that suits the number of players you've selected. We'll encourage the use of 4 bouts of 4-minute rounds, separated by 3 minutes active recovery. And the intensity you should be working at is about 90 to 95% in those 4-minute bouts. And during the active recovery, you can also incorporate some skills work.